Good morning and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. My name is Anthony Momodi, the King of Sport, and I've got all the breaks across Europe for all the matches that were played, in the course of the weekend, talking about international matches and friendly matches gearing up for different tournaments in Europe and in the African continent. Let's begin from the home front where we're looking at the Nigerian Professional Football League. It was a big one where Ikorodu City captain Waliu Ojetoye has hailed the team's Southwest Derby victory over Shooting Stars. The Oga Boys extended their winning streak to 3 games following a 2-1 win over Shooting Stars on Sunday. Anthony Okachi opened scoring for Shooting Stars in the first half, while Ikorodu City, however, rallied through goals from Shola Adelani and Ruvio Aye. Ojetoye expressed gratitude to the fans for their support throughout the encounter. Ikorodu City moved up to 8th position with 17 points from 12 games following the win. All right, from Ikorodu City boys, let's move on to another game that was played in the MPFL. We're looking at the Flying Antelopes, talking about Rangers of Enugu. Yes, it was a big one where Rangers International Football Club of Enugu, the Flying Antelopes, defeated visiting Bende Insurance of Benin by 3-2 at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu on Sunday. In a Week 12 MPFL encounter, the victory moved the Flying Antelopes to 4th place on the league table with 19 points. The second goal came in the 42nd minute, courtesy of Owumiro, wearing jersey number 14. The winning goal followed just before halftime in the 48th minute from FM, wearing jersey number 6. Well, despite conceding 3 goals in the first half, Bende Insurance came back strong in the second half, scoring 2 goals with in the 31st and in the 49th minute of the game. Commenting on the game, Rangers coach in the person of Ike Ekene expressed his happiness over the important 3 points that would help their progress in insurance side, which contributed to their ability to reduce the deficit. By 2 goals. Imagine that. Just let you know that Niger Tornadoes have expressed their disappointment with the outcome of the match day 12 fixture against Air Academy Warriors. The Ikon Ala Boys were defeated 1-0 by Air Academy Warriors in Maiduguri on Sunday. The defeat ended Niger Tornadoes Niger Tornadoes' 3-game unbeaten run in the Nigerian Premier League football. Niger Tornadoes dropped to 9th position on the table following the defeat. And so that's how the cookie crumbled. Academy Warriors still gathering all the needed points. All right, we're hoping to be joined by Frank Alapa, who will be joining us from the National Stadium Abuja here to give us updates as regards the military games that will be kick-starting soon. And hopefully he'll be joining us via Zoom so we can get his perspective to the preparations and the expectations of sport fans in the FCT. All right, let's give you some stories before we go for a quick break. We've got the Super Eagles coach in the news that this morning, Super Eagles caretaker coach Austin Eguavoen has said his team will be professional in their approach to the clash with Rwanda. Eguavoen's side have already secured qualification to the 2025 African Cup of Nations to be hosted by Morocco. They will host the Abu in their last qualifying game at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. Today, despite the inconsequential nature of the game, the Gaffer declared that the Super Eagles will go for maximum points. So hopefully we'll be seeing the Super Eagles in action and going for the maximum points. Still talking about the Super Eagles match, let's tell you about some players in the Super Eagles team, talking about Lukman missing training and Aino returning to the club side. Let's just let you know that Demola Lukman was absent from training on Saturday as Super Eagles began preparations for their final 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifying match against the Amofobi of Rwanda. The Atlanta forward sustained a knock during a just 1-1 draw against Benin Republic on Thursday, a game in which he was substituted late on for Frank Onyeka. His fitness for Monday's encounter remains uncertain and will be evaluated during the Super Eagles final training session. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest defender Ola Aina has left the Super Eagles camp after his club requested his release ahead of their crucial Premier League fixture against Arsenal. The move was facilitated as Nigeria has already secured qualification for the tournament. In another development, goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali has also exited the camp to attend to family matters following the recent passing of his father. The Super Eagles are set to host Rwanda at the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium today, aiming to conclude their qualification campaign on a high. So wish the Super Eagles the very best of luck. All right, just for you to know, talking about Nwabali now, just to let you know that Super Eagles coach Austin Guavon has excused their first choice goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali from the Monday's final 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match against Rwanda due to the loss of his father. The 27-year-old goalkeeper announced the passing of his father, Chief Gospel Onyekam Abali, also known as Chief Onyegazim of Ekuzi One, on Friday via social media. Chief Abali, a former chief surveyor, died at the age of 67. With Nwabali unavailable for selection, the battle for the starting goalkeeper spot on Monday's fixture at Gospel Akpabio Stadium will lie between Maduka Okoye, who plays his trade in Italy, and Amas Obasoge, who plays in Ethiopia. All right, let's go for a quick break. When we come from this break, we've got some other stories concerning WAFCON 2024. The draw for the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations will hold Friday, November 22nd in Morocco. These and other big stories is what we share when we return from this break. Stay with us.
It's time. Headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
And commentaries on sporty events, talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
right, welcome back from the break. Still talk sport. Let's take you to the Women's African Cup of Nations. The draw for the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations will hold on Friday, November 22nd in Morocco. The Confederation of African Football announced this on its official website on Sunday. The Mohamed VI Technical Center in Saleh, Morocco will host the draw ceremony. Morocco will host the competition from July 5th to July 26, 2025. Nine-time champions, the Super Eagles, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, are among the 12 teams that have qualified for the competition. Bayana of South Africa won the last edition of the competition in 2022, which was also hosted by Morocco. So on the 22nd of this month, the Super Falcons will know which group they fall into as the draws for the 2024 African Women Cup of Nations will be holding. Meanwhile, Bayana are the defending champions of the tournament, having won it in the last edition in 2022. That's talking about the South African team. All right, let's move on to other stories making the rounds. Let's go to Europe and talk about Liverpool. Liverpool has got some big stories. One of Italy's biggest clubs are reportedly hoping to sign Liverpool winger Federico Chiesa on loan in January. The Italian joined the Reds in summer in a deal worth £10 million, but has become somewhat of a forgotten man over the past few months. Chiesa has made just one appearance in the Premier League and has been left out of the squad for his size 5 top flight matches. And a loan move could be on the cards as he hopes to make a return to fitness. Inter Milan are pushing to bring him in on a 6-month deal in January, according to Sport. Meanwhile, Liverpool believed they had signed a player to add further depth to their forward line that includes Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Diego Jota, and Cody Gakpo. However, he has played just 78 minutes of football for the club after arriving with fitness issues. Manager and Slot insisted last month that Chiesa's absence has been due to the Italian having missed pre-season and continuing to work to get up to intensity of the rest of the Liverpool squad. Meanwhile, Chiesa had been viewed as one of the poster boys of Italian football when he joined Juventus from Fiorentina. The winger had starred when Italy were crowned European champions in 2021. Chiesa progress stalled when he suffered a cruciate ligament injury in 2022. So he's in Liverpool. Hopefully he will be working his way up to get to match fitness and probably start getting some matches under his belt. All right, from Liverpool, let's go to Arsenal, where Arsenal have been handed a fresh injury concern as Leandro Trossard was forced off during Belgium's loss against Israel in the Nations League. Mikel Arteta is already facing an injury headache with Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice both withdrawing from England's most recent Nations League squad. The Gunners' injury headache worsened as Trossard was substituted just 37 minutes into the game. That marks another tough international break for the North London side, who lost Ricardo Calafiori and Martin Odegaard during the September international break. Fast forward to October international break, where they also saw injuries to wingers Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli. And now in November, the Gunners have seen Leandro Trossard, Holdhoff, and Ben White set to miss time, though the latter was not selected by England. Meanwhile, speaking after Belgium's loss, Domenico Tedesco confirmed that the Arsenal winger was taken off due to injury. So one too many injury for Arsenal, but Trossard now looks set to join an injury list that includes Ricardo Calafiori, who has not featured since Arsenal's 1-0 win over Shakhtar Donetsk in October. As for White, the England fullback is set to miss up to 8 weeks after he underwent surgery to help deal with the long-term knee injury. All right, still talking about England and their players. Let's look at this story concerning how well the Three Lions played last night against Ireland. England sealed their promotion back to the top tier of the UEFA Nations League on Sunday night by thrashing Republic of Ireland on Sunday. The Three Lions started the night top of Group B2 due to their superior head-to-head record against Greece. But top sport remained in the balance at halftime when Lee Castley's England were still behind, held to a 0-0 draw. However, the game changed just 6 minutes into the second half when Leanne Scales considered a penalty kick and earned a yellow card all at once by fouling Jude Bellingham. Harry Kane converted the spot kick before Anthony Gordon and Conor Gallagher scored their first international goals to make it 3-0 before the hour mark. Meanwhile, Gerard Bowen and Taylor Haywood Bellis then bagged their first goals for the Three Lions after coming off the bench to wrap up a 5-0 win against Northern Ireland. So it was sweet victory for England yesterday, but we had some ugly scenes at the stadium as the Sunday night UEFA Nations League game between England and the Republic of Ireland was preceded by booing during the both national anthems. Jeering began in the away section at the London's Wembley Stadium when the large group representing the UK military were paraded on the field ahead of the match. England fans responded by later booing Amran Fian. They lacked the jack of respect shown to both anthems was the topic of plenty of discussion on social media. The fact that both fans did not respect the anthem of both countries was a very sad thing to witness there. But that's what happens when two rival teams meet. All right, just to give you update as regards the fact that both England, yes, UEFA is responding to what happened as both national team anthems were also booed before kickoff. In the game, UEFA responded by fining both the FA and the FAI. England's FA were forced to pay £10,500 as a fine, while Ireland's FAI were fined £8,400. The FA's fine was bigger because they were deemed to be repeat offenders. England interim manager Lee Castley, who was born in Birmingham but represented Ireland during his playing career, did not sing either national anthem on Sunday. All right, moving on to other stories. Let's take you to Old Trafford, where we're talking transfer market now. Manchester United are reportedly planning to make a move for Sporting Lisbon's starlet Giovanni Quande. After 4.5 glittering years at Sporting, Ruben Amorim was announced as United's new manager following the sacking of Erik ten Hag. The 39-year-old is tasked with reversing what has been a dismal start to the campaign for the club. And after the Dutchman led them to their worst ever season, and he believes he was sacked. Meanwhile, Amorim believes the 17-year-old Quande can help him do that, according to sports paper Bola. The report claims United had already approached the Portuguese side over the player prior to Amorim's arrival, and they want to get a deal over the line as soon as possible, with the summer transfer seen as the most likely time scale. Meanwhile, Quenda recently signed a contract extension up to 2027, which saw his release clause rise from £38 million to £84 million. That matches teammate Victor Gyökeres, who has drawn interest from a number of Premier League club sides. Meanwhile, Quenda only broke into the Sporting first team this season and quickly became the youngest player to score for the club. All right, that from Sporting Lisbon angle, let's talk about one man. He is considered one of the greatest coaches in the world of football currently. His name, Pep Guardiola. Yes, Guardiola is in the news this morning as Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola is reportedly the subject of an ambitious plan to become the next Brazil manager, with the driving force behind the plot Guardiola's future at the Etihad Stadium has been clouded by increasing uncertainty with the Spaniard's contract set to expire at the end of the season. Meanwhile, the 53-year-old was heavily linked with England Post last month before the FA turned to German coach Thomas Tuchel, and he has previously shared his ambition to one day coach a national team. According to the Spanish outlet, Real Madrid legend Ronaldo has made Guardiola the central figure of his bid to become the next president of the Brazilian Football Federation, promising to recruit the city boss if he is elected. The report suggests that Ronaldo would look to bring Guardiola to Brazil in 2026, 1 year after his city contract expires. Before that, Ronaldo would have to rethink his personal businesses if he is to be successful in his electoral campaign. His side Real Valladolid and would have to sell his shares in the club. He reportedly has the backing of several key figures in Brazilian football, including former president of Corinthians, in the person of Andres Sanchez. Guardiola has been strongly connected with Brazil job, and the current president, Enardo Rodriguez, denied making contact with the Spaniard this week. All right, from Man City, let's go to the red side of Manchester, as Ruben Amorim has seemingly been dealt an injury blow before he has even taken charge of his first game at Manchester United. The Portuguese had been in charge this week as he adapted to his new job, which is as head coach of the Red Devils, following the departure from Sporting Lisbon in his homeland. He has been had snapped meetings with some players at the Carrington and taking in the sight of the city, while the majority of his players have been away on international duty. And because of that, he'll be getting more time to mix with the players this time around. That's because it's international break, and United players such as Bruno Fernandes and Leandro Garnacho have been flying around the world to play for their countries in the final break of the year. Not everyone has had the luxury, with stars such as Marcus Rashford and not been picked by their national teams staying back. Meanwhile, Harry Maguire is recovering from a foot injury. One player, however, has been playing for Sweden, but may have picked up an injury himself to give Amorim some thinking to do just days out from his first match in charge. All right, we've got Victor Lindelof also injured. That's him there on your screen. Victor Lindelof injured and has been a part player for United for the majority of his 7-year stay at the club, struggling to ever really nail down a place in the first 11, despite making 266 appearances for the Red Devils. He will be hoping for the chance to play some games early in the reign of Amorim, who is expected to adopt a system that will use 3 centre-backs. That would be good news for the likes of Lisandro Martinez and Mathis de Ligt, who would almost be guaranteed spot in the side, with the likes of Lenny Yoro to come back from fitness. All right, let's go for another quick break, hoping that we'll be able to establish contact with Frank Alapa to give us updates as regards what's playing out at the National Stadium, where there's a press conference concerning the military games coming.